Alright, so I'm sure you've heard by now about the fact that Rockstar pulled Red Dead Online out of its beta, and if you're subscribed to this channel, you're probably very familiar with all of the intricacies of it coming out of beta and what that means for the game and all that kind of stuff. So I want to disclose this up front. This is not scripted, this is not official, this is just my thoughts about the game. I've done, I think, 2 of these videos before that are just me talking about how I feel about the game and how I, think it's going, all that kind of stuff. This is not to be one of my breakdowns, this is not to be, official Rockstar information. This is just my thoughts on Red Dead Online. So I just wanted to disclose that right at the top here, because sometimes I'll catch people who get like 7 minutes into a video and then they'll be like, wait a minute, I thought there was gonna be information in here. And I'm like, hey, this is my opinion. I'm not trying to act like I have some hidden insider knowledge. So with that being said, with that massive disclosure out of the way, how do I feel about Red Dead Online now that we have dropped the beta tag? So as somebody who's played from the very first day that the beta was accessible, I really like the way that the game is going. Now, if you would have talked to me, and you can go back and watch my video from like the first 3 days, I think, after the beta launched, I was very pleased with the game. Now, obviously, as I'm sure a lot of people know, after that, my opinion dropped pretty drastically of Red Dead Online for a while. The game was in a very subpar state. There was microtransactions and no content. Everything was super expensive. They kept nerfing hunting prices, all kinds of just crazy things. And then with the removal of the beta tag, granted, a lot of those issues did not get solved, but they added enough stuff to where people were like, all right, fine. That meaning they added things like poker, which I think is a great addition. And personally, I am not the best poker player, but I really like that I could sit down and stay in the game and play poker. It also adds an entire new level for content to the game. It's a nice way to sit down and hang out with your friends. Maybe instead of hopping on Discord for a Skype session with people like Zumi and Hazard, we'll all hop in a poker game and bet some money and joke around and have fun. So, that could be really fun. And I think that kind of opens up the dynamic that poker gives to the game. Is it's no longer just, all right, let's all run around and look at our characters, and if we're bored idling, you're gonna see me spinning because I'm bored. You can kind of just sit there and chill and stuff, and I think that was a layer to the game that was needed, because there's been these high octane PvP, like, oh, we gotta get this, and even in Gun Rush is a lax version of high octane, so you're like very, you got to keep your eye on the entire area, but you've got to move slowly and you got to choose your movements wisely and that kind of stuff. Whereas with poker, you're pretty much just, playing hand to hand. You might lose some money, you might win some money, but it's really more about the kind of relaxing environment, especially in Red Dead Online, because you're not, playing for real money. You're not paying for, or you're not, betting lots of money either. So it's really just kind of a friendly thing. And I think that's really cool. And I think, the whole game has kind of been structured around that, because I think in the beginning, Rockstar was really like, oh, we want this game to be, the next PvP, the next Fortnite, the next this, the next that. And then they realized that the fan base was not into that. They realized the fan base wanted like to own a ranch and to play poker and to like chill with their friends, not like destroy their friends and Old West combat, which we want to do as well, but we want to do that when we are bored of all of the other things inside the game. Like, that should be the last resort, not the primary focus. And I think that was the big switch that Rockstar made over the last 3 or 4 months. And with the content that they have, I guess it's not scheduled to come out, but they've teased it and they told us it was coming this summer, so it's not scheduled for any certain day, but they've got content coming out this summer that is in relation to roleplay, which I think is the perfect step for this game. I think when they add things like the War Wagon, which we covered the other day, so I'll throw a link to that if I can remember, but regardless, when they add things like that, it's going to get a little hectic for players, because that's going to be a big, set of bombs to deal with. Whereas up until then, we've only had, I guess we have explosive ammo, but you don't really see a lot of people shooting explosive ammo under wagons to get wagons to explode. The closest thing you get to that is when somebody's got a wagon that they have to deliver, and then maybe you'll shoot an explosive ammo at like the back tire, or I guess it's not a tire, it's just a wheel, but regardless, that's kind of the only time you see stuff like that happening. Nobody owns personal wagons, and if you see somebody on a wagon, you don't really care to take the wagon because it's not theirs anyway. So it's just kind of like, yeah, well, you borrow that wagon, buddy. Actually, I guess I should pivot there, because that's one thing that I still think the game needs, and that's a big part of the way that I feel about the game, is I think there needs to be a buying and selling system. So I think we need to be able to buy things that we don't have access to yet, obviously, like houses and coaches, and even just property like land. If I could own a piece of land, if I could pay 90 gold for a plot of land and have my camp be there every time, I would use my camp so much more. I still use my camp a lot, but I'm just saying, if I could know where it was predictably, oh my god, that would be so good. And then if, like, you know, you want different plots of land, they cost different amounts of money, maybe you have to do different missions to unlock them. That kind of world building could be really cool, and it feels like the direction that they're going with Red Dead Online. So personally, you know, as far as the way that I see this game shaking out and the way that I see things working, I really think that the future for Red Dead Online is really, really bright. And I think the current state of the game is as bright as it can be when you take into consideration where it was 6 months ago and where it was even 1 month ago, because, you know, you can't come all the way back around in a month, and they haven't. But admittedly, from, you know, from the Monday before the spring update dropped, this game has drastically improved. So I really think that, you know, Rockstar is making the right decisions that they need to be making. They need to focus on things like connectivity. I think, you know, pretty much connectivity and bugs in general are the real barrier for people at this point. Like, I've seen a lot of posts that are people like, yo, I really just wish that Rockstar would fix their servers because I spent 50 minutes trying to connect with my friends and it didn't happen. And that frustrates me for X, Y, and Z reasons. And I totally get that. So, you know, as somebody who really, really likes this game, I think that Rockstar definitely still has a lot of work to do. But I think that work is more now than ever needing to be rooted in technical, getting this thing like running like a well-oiled machine essentially, versus pumping out the content beats, because they've proven that they're going in the right direction with the content. So I think if they spend, you know, like if we don't get anything on Tuesday, but a lot of the bugs are fixed and I don't get disconnected all the time, I will be happy with that. Whereas, like, you know, 2 weeks ago, if they would have just fixed the connectivity issues, I would not have been satisfied with just having the connectivity issues fixed. So it is definitely at a point now where if they're like, hey, look guys, we need to fix how the connection works, we'll be like, all right, man, that's fine by me. But regardless, it still needs to be attended to. We can't be disconnecting like this for another year. So that definitely needs to be next on their priority list. But all in all, man, this game has definitely impressed me in a way that after it started disappointing me, I did not think it was going to again. So after the February drip feed and after the hunting nerf, honestly, the first one, after that I was like, oh no, this is not good. And then this game has quite surprised me with this latest update. So I wanted to make this video kind of applauding it and being like, hey, you know, good job Rockstar. I appreciate what you've done here. I appreciate the place that you're trying to go with this game that we're all playing. I personally am going to try to live a double life. I'm going to try to have a farm and do all the peaceful stuff and then be an outlaw on the side. We will see if that is a playstyle that is available to me. I might have to have 2 accounts. That is fine by me. I already have 2 accounts. But that being said, I really am just satisfied with where this game is. So this is where I want to pose this question to you guys. How do you feel about Red Dead Online? Because I've just talked for, just looked at the timer. It's going to be a 10-minute video. Oh God, the comments though. Regardless though, so I've just talked for 10 minutes about how I feel about Red Dead Online. How do you guys feel? I'm really curious. So let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are for this game. What are you excited about? What are you not excited about? What do you think the game still needs, and what are you satisfied with that they've added so far? I would really love to hear what you guys think about this topic, because as far as I've seen, a lot of the community is really, really happy with this update. Obviously the game still has a lot of things that it needs to get right, but the direction and the way the game feels, the fact that they patched the graphics back, all those kind of little quality of life things that we kind of felt slapped in the face for along the path of the beta are finally, not all of them, but most of them are pretty well resolved. And I think that's just all Rockstar. I think that is just something we should clap and applaud Rockstar for, because as much as, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will know, I am the first one to call Rockstar out when I don't think something is right. If I think, even as little as with the nerf the other day on Never Without One, even though it wasn't as bad as I had initially thought it to be, I was still like, this is stupid. Right away. I still emailed Rockstar and got my money back. It doesn't, I don't like giving the benefit of the doubt when I don't feel it's deserved. However, at this point, I feel it's definitely deserved. you know, after they released such a good single player game, to release that crap even online with a microtransaction store, I was like, what are you doing? You have ruined your legacy. And then they were like, nah, bro, we just needed money for the 6 months we were building the rest of the content. And like, look, as shady as that was, we are now through the dark times, I have been calling it, and we are into the light. So there will be a lot of good content coming. Like I said earlier, I can't wait for the spring I can't wait for the summer update. And yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna call it quits. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys liked this video. Like I said before, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel. What do you like that they've added? What do you not like? All that kind of stuff. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys very, very soon with a brand new Red Dead Online video. Peace.